Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new, gorgeous lecturer, hot teacher Frey. Jesus Christ, they put some personality into her. And she is the final character for the Sparkle of Youth Reckoning team. And on one hand, she fits that team very well, and on the other hand, she doesn't really fit that team very well. But she is water, single target magic character using a hammer. But she's on Sparkle of Youth, Fount of Wisdom, Prosper, and 10 Great Demon Lords. Which 10 Great Demon Lords is not a team, and it will never be a team. Prosper only wants Earth and Fire, so good luck. Fount of Wisdom is primarily a Blue Orb team, so not really fitting on any of those. She's got, as I said, a single target ult for 530% if you have no investment in her, and then EX ult is just more damage. Her first skill gives Fount of Wisdom or Water characters a 120% HP cap increase. So if you currently have 100% HP, then you're full. You use this skill, and you're going to have another 120%, so it looked like you've doubled HP. But your HP doesn't catch up to that point. Like, it doesn't magically give you 120% existing HP as well. So it'll look like you're now at half health. And then it'll heal you 40% for 2 turns. So you'll get a total of 80% HP back, which is not 120, but it's more than what you would have started with. And this works especially well for the Sparkle of Youth team because Reckoning does damage based on your remaining HP. So if all of your characters suddenly have more than double the health, then your Reckoning will do more than double the damage. And then you just add stacks upon stacks of that, and you'll do a lot. So this skill works very well for the Sparkle of Youth team. The second skill is a raw, big-time 90-point damage skill, which makes not a lot of sense for the team, because it's Reckoning, it's defense, it's HP regen, it's orb changing. There are no other buffing characters on this team. There's no reason for you to do traditional nuking damage. So, while this skill is very good for 90 points, 80% magic and 100% EX ult damage, it's unnecessary for a defensive-focused team, and it doesn't make any sense. So, that's a problem. Valor trait nerfs greens. Her actual trait, if you pull dupes of her, gives you extra skill points. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, let's just go in. Alright, so we're going to use her on the Sparkle of Youth team. Masayuki, Hinata, Shizu, Yuki, and herself. And you'll see that she'll work incredibly well. Lumi is here, but she doesn't. You could literally put this as an empty spot for all I care. She's just here because she happens to be another orb changer, which we're not going to need, and a sometimes healing character just to squeeze a few extra stacks out. But we're going to go into Inferno 2, or Dire 2, sorry, the highest difficulty stage, where they have literally 100 million HP. And because of the effect that we're going to get from Frey, we're going to essentially double the Reckoning damage that we have been doing up until this point, because most everyone is going to have an extra 120% HP. So just to verify that we are actually in that stage, Rimuru has 101 million HP right there. So turn 1 is very simple. We'll bring Frey in for you, and then we'll bring Yuki in for Lumi, and then we will just use the green buff and the orb change. And this will be no different from at any point of what we have done with this team. Really, she doesn't change the way the team works, essentially. She's going to make them a bit stronger, yes. But the functionality of the team was set with the very first banner, with Shizu and Masayuki and Hinata. Yuki is just an orb changer and puts more stacks on. Okay, well, you're still doing the same thing. Frey is just at this point healing you, and for some reason has a heal skill. So let's go ahead and apply that. So let's do this orb change, and we'll do this skill. So boom, boom, just getting more stacks of Reckoning. Got a full hand of greens, but you'll see that Shizu currently has 25.9 out of 30k HP. Well, let's use the Frey skill really fast. Actually, let's take Shizu out, actually. I don't want to bring her. You go away. We'll bring Hinata in. Hinata has full HP, so 28.8 out of 28.8. Okay, well, let's use the HP skill now. boom, we are now at quote-unquote half HP. And that's because now, instead of being at 28.8, our highest HP now is 63,000, because we've added 120% on top of that. But we didn't heal alongside of it, so that's why it looks like we just suddenly took damage. It's just because we have more than double our HP now. But we also have a personal heal, and then Hinata is here, and we can use her to absorb the damage we're going to take from all these attacks from Rimuru, and that will add our add more to our HP. So alongside the heal charm that we've got, it's not really that big of a deal anymore. So let's just go ahead and use these skills again, and then we'll just add more and more stacks on. It doesn't matter that we don't need to orb change, I just want to do more stacks, and there we go. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Max points again, another Masayuki, cool. Damage here is irrelevant because we're banking on Reckoning to do 100 million damage, 300 million damage technically. And then, alright, we'll heal that, and we'll heal that, and every single time we're raising our HP to this new maximum cap. And then the 40% heal will kick in, and boom. Alright, and then there's a heal, and that's from the poison. And now Hinata should be either close or done. And, okay, no, she's capped out. 63,000 HP. And we know that the Reckoning effect, just in general, does damage based on your total remaining HP. So if all three of these characters have 120% more HP, the Reckoning stacks are going to do 120% more damage, because you have the more HP to work with, which is cool. So let's let's get that multi-skill. We'll bring Shizu. Actually, no, we'll bring Lumi in first, and then we'll get a random heal off because it's cheap, and that'll add more stacks on to Frey and Hinata. And remember that Reckoning doesn't actually start hitting people until turn 5. So we are just constantly building things up. And we're going to use the HP skill again because Shizu doesn't have it right now. So when we do this, boom, okay, now Shizu needs to make back a lot of those points, which we can very easily do because we're going to have that 40% heal. We're going to be in that healing field from Hinata. So there's nothing to really worry about, quote unquote, right now. We don't need to use that again. We just need to do this. So, we are just building up. And even after 2 turns ends, we're going to retain that extra 120% HP. And then they'll just have to chip it down. And it'll look like we're taking damage, but our HP isn't going anywhere. And that's good. Because we're going to retain a high amount of HP. And because we're running Hinata, we're actually never going to take damage at this point. We're just going to be consistently capped out. And as we add more and more stacks of Reckoning, it's just going to make that hit harder when we finally get to turn 5. And that's the fight. You're going to be here until Reckoning does 100 million damage per person. So, oh yeah, heal. All right, and then how about a heal right here? And okay, yeah, cool. And then we'll hit that. Okay, cool, thank you for that. And then, oh yeah, cool, more stacks of Reckoning. Gob to AoE, all right. Hit you. And then we'll see Shizu healed up right there. And we're healing here from the poison. And there's the Reckoning stacks. And now we're up to 44. So that's 50. 100, 122, 146 stacks of Reckoning on turn 4. Because the heal from Frey hits everybody, that's 6 stacks right there, 2, 4, 6. And that's for 2 turns, so we technically get 12 stacks off of that. Masayuki's got the AoE charm. We're doing a whole bunch of orb changing and ult swapping and things of that nature. So we're doing a lot here. Let's bring you back in. And we'll get another heal off of here because you're relatively cheap still. And then we'll bring Yuki back up front, and then we'll apply the healing field, and he's going to have the HP thing remaining. So we don't really need to use it right stat now. We do want to use it next turn because then the heal is going to go away. But then that'll give us a good example of us retaining that super high HP threshold. And then just lots of orb changes here. Boom, boom, boom. And we'll use Yuki again. More and more stacks. Like, this is a very boring team. It's a lot of clicking. It's almost as slow as the Divine General team because you're using so many skills. And that just is purely because of us being a reset team and a multi-use team as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, shoot, whatever. Okay. So we're only on turn 4. This video might just be this clip because I don't want to take her somewhere else, but we will. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. 71 stacks right there, plus the heal, plus that heal, plus these heals. And this is the final turn before Reckoning starts to activate. And now you can see the HP threshold is gone, but Hinata now has 63,000 HP out of a cap of 28. The cap went back down, but we didn't lose that other HP, which is cool. It didn't used to work like that. So she's got an extra 120k HP that they would have to chip through before we would even see the health bar go down. But we're not going to really have to worry about that because we're just going to reapply it, essentially. And I guess, actually, here, let's not do... Well, no, it doesn't matter because they already have the HP threshold. Never mind. You get out of here. And HP again for funsies. Healing field. And then we'll just use some skills. So, very boring team. And it's going to get even more boring, because at this point, you just have to wait for them to die. So, before Frey came out, Reckoning on turn 5 was doing about 6-ish million damage. And then it would ramp up from there as we got further and further along in the fight, and we got more and more stacks. And, you know, that'd be pretty good. 6 million damage on turn 5 just for free, maybe not free, but for very minimal effort, is pretty good. But now let's see what happens when we add in that extra 120% HP to 4 of our characters. Because Yuki has it, Shizu has it, Frey and Hinata haven't moved from the front line. So we're going to get very, very high stacks here. Frey and Hinata are almost capped out. And then it does 24 million damage right there. Because 4 of our characters suddenly has 120% extra HP for Reckoning to pull from to do damage. 24 million on the first turn. And it's only going to go higher as we get higher and higher capped out on the Reckoning stacks. It only goes to 99, so probably after this turn, Frey is going to be done. So, you know what? Let's do this. So, let's do the healing field again. Don't need to really worry about anything. Well, no, we kind of need the orbs. So, let's actually not alt swap here, because I want to send the alt and see the damage that we do with her skill, as so very useful as it will be. And you get in here. We're not going to use the heal because I want to make sure we have enough points. So let's reset. And I used the healing field too early. Damn. Not a big deal. Let's use the big time skill. Boom, boom. Orb change. We're going to have to do it. No. We got one more skill to use here. Yeah, Hinata skill. Okay. And now we have to reapply the field. There we go. So now Yuki has it. Okay. So now Frey and technically Hinata have a 100% EX alt buff. They both have EX alts. They also have, where is it? An 80% magic attack buff. Okay, cool. How much HP does Rimuru still have? 76 million damage. This damage buff that we just used does not affect Reckoning. Like, it doesn't. The only thing that affects Reckoning is the number of stacks and your HP. Alt damage, magic attack, element buff means nothing to the Reckoning stat. So, is this attack buff going to be very impressive? No, it's not. So Hinata does 67,000, and Frey, I forgot to turn her on, 780k. Is that strong for that one singular buff? It's fair. It's okay. But he has 76 million HP left. Am I going to kill him using that skill? No. Not even close. But now Hinata's, or not Hinata, but Frey is going to be capped out at this point because she's going to take a lot of hits right there. And now she's going to be at the full 99 stacks. And you know what? That's great, because we're going to do even more Reckoning damage now. Continuous heal. Boom, boom, boom. 27 million damage. It's going up and up and up. Alright, so... actually, we didn't have a Masayuki there. That's kind of shocking. Oh, because we sent the ults instead of just orbs. That's why. Okay, well, that's a mistake. Frey is capped out. She's done. So let's get her out of here, and we'll bring Shizu in now. So she can get some more stacks. And we can use... not having him there actually kind of hurts. Let's do the healing field. And what do we got? We need to do 2 orb changes. Healing field, orb change. And then the green buff. And that should get us back on track for most of it. Oh, that's actually not what I wanted to do. We did the wrong skill. Oh well. At least we have the heal. That's the most important part. Okay, and now we just have to wait for us to do another 50 million HP. So this clip is 13.5 minutes long already, and... I mean, they're gonna die. We haven't taken any damage since turn 1. It's very boring. Does she help us clear this much faster because we're just outputting a lot more Reckoning damage? Yeah. So then here we do 30 million damage across the board. So the next turn, they're dead. They only have 16 left, and we're on turn 8. So let's just put the healing field up, and we'll just chill, I guess, because we don't need to do anything else. Boom. And cool. And now they can attack us all they want. Cool, whatever. And then they're going to die. And so the direct contribution that Frey gave us was that she pretty much doubled our damage on Reckoning because everyone has an extra 120% HP, and now they're going to die here, and there we go. 32 million. Very boring. She did make him do a lot more damage, and that's very, very good. It means she fits very well on the team. Her second skill, though, not really that useful, because we did 800k. When they have 100 million, it's not important, not impactful. Okay, so instead of using Frey on some like stacking team that wouldn't fit her very well because she has no orb changing capability and a lot of buffs for stacking teams already have what she's doing, let's put her on a burst team that people are commonly using, and that's Exalted Champions. So Velzard, Rimuru, Milim is going to be our DPS character, Guy, and then we're going to add in Frey, because normally when I run this team, I would put Violet in for her 100% magic buff to make Milim do more damage, and she does. But now we're going to have Frey, who is giving slightly less magic buff, but also adding a whole nother buff on, which is the 100% EX ult damage, which is going to make Milim hit a lot harder than us just having Violet. So in that aspect of being a support character, she does have a really good skill, and it's going to cover quite a few characters in burst scenarios, which I think is good. So we're just going to go into Tempered Edge Veldora because he has the most HP out of all of them, and I could use a team that's whatever I want to do. Whether or not this team actually works very well, it's not going to have type advantage or a protector support, but it should still get the job done for the most part. So let's go ahead and bring Milim in, and then we'll take out Rimuru, I guess, and we'll just send these blue orbs 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the event that you do pull Frey, she does have amazing support capabilities for a magic focused team. Remember, magic characters are only characters that can use a magic buff. So if you were to try and put Frey on a physical team with like Tournament Looney or something like that, like, yeah, you would still get the EX ult damage, but the other half of the skill, the magic buff, doesn't apply to them. So that's not great. Okay, so let's do the ult rush. Boom. Okay. And then we'll take out Frey for Veldora, who's going to use his green buff skill. And then we'll bring in Rimuru. Cool, and run it like this. So, using Velzard, full hand of green orbs, the element buff, the Drago effect, this is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gets us the EX alt for Milim. And now we just need to make sure that we have enough points to use the synergy buff from Guy, the big time expensive skill from Frey, and then Rimuru's buff. And we could do that fairly easily right here. So let's do the alt swap skill. Let's hold the attack buff, and let's hold the synergy buff now. Because now we have 73 points. We still need to use Milim's buff as well, 15. And we need the 90 from Frey. So we're going to send Milim away. Boom. And then because we can, let's just go ahead and use this skill. And you can see that only Frey's HP got higher, because she's the only one on Fount of Wisdom or a water element. So the skill didn't hit Guy, it didn't hit Rimuru, and it won't hit Milim or Veldora either, because they're not water and they're not Fount of Wisdom. We will get that continuous heal, which is cool, I guess, but is it necessary on this team? No, you don't need it. We're going to kill long before he even gets close to killing us, so a very unuseful skill for most other teams that are not built around having or needing high HP and healing. But what it does do is kind of look cool, because now Frey is at half HP, but now, boom, big time heal. Excellent. I guess they healed up too. But now we have 162 points, which means that we have enough. So let's take out Rimuru now. We'll bring in Milim. We'll use the big time magic buff and EX alt damage, and then that'll combo off of Milim's normal alt damage, 100% right here, and weakness strike, which doesn't matter because we're type neutral. And then we'll use Velzard. So in 4 turns, we're going to do probably a couple million damage here. Probably around 3 million damage, I think is what I'll put it down as. Let's find out. Milim, we'll watch it. But I mean, you can work her into other teams. Maybe not stacking teams, because a lot of stacking teams already have EX alt damage, or they already have magic damage, or some variation of the two where doubling up on it doesn't make a whole butt ton of sense. And we do 1.6, actually that's a lot less. But again, we're type neutral with no protector support for like damage element. So, we did do more damage if we didn't have Frey here. It just doesn't look very impressive because we're not in the optimum scenario. But she'll work. She'll work on, let's pull up some other teams that I've got saved. She'll work on Ogre's Pride. That's a stacking team. I could swap out Elmesia for her, certainly, because Elmesia is not doing that much for the team. If we take away her big time skill, her other skill, like, is kind of useful, but kind of not. The same thing would apply to Frey. Her first skill is kind of useful, kind of not, but the other skill is useful. Festive Memories is physical, so no. Vengeance doesn't need her. Octagram Demon Lord certainly could use her, and we'd have to swap out either Raphael or Diablo. Probably Raphael, but you could put her on that team. Elmesia's Divine General team, no. Visions of Coleus, we're already getting a magic buff from Violet. We're already getting EX alt damage from Jean. Unnecessary. Emil's is pretty much Exalted Champions, but orange. You could put her there. That'll work. Nir's Blessing is physical. Protector Piece is physical. Maribel's Prosper team generally only wants Earth and Fire characters, so not super useful there. And then physical team, we just showed this team in physical team. So there are places you will be able to put her in. But is it necessary that you pull for her right stat now because of the potential to put on a team that you might already have enough support for anyways? Probably not. She looks hot. She's got a really good skill for her team and a fairly good skill for other teams. But it's also skills that we generally are already getting at this point. Like, we're probably going to get a magic buff for a magic team, and we're probably going to get an EX alt buff for any team. So her skills are going to be replaceable. Maybe not at the maximum power, but certainly there are other options you can use that will do just fine. So, will she be useful in the future? Maybe, kind of, sort of. Her meta is probably going to get nerfed after this month, though, so whether or not you see her in future beatdown battles, I'm not entirely sure. So, based on that, she's not a must-summon character right now. Not when we're just over a month away from the 3.5 anniversary. You don't need to summon for Frey right now. But let me know what you guys think about Frey, and if I'm underselling her or overselling her, whatever your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.